I like it. It looks festive. I should sit over here. Hey! Hello and welcome to the Tomcast. I'm Tom, president and dictator for life of 515comics.com. The Tomcast isn't dead. I told you it wasn't dead. But then I decided to not do a Tomcast for like 2 months, a month and a half. I don't know. It feels like it's been a really long time. You know, this was what I was scared of, that it was like, oh, if it's not a weekly thing, I'm just gonna, like, not do it. But I do still want to do it, so here, look, I'm doing it. Anyway, it's been a while since I've done a Tomcast, so I figured I'd talk about a couple of things, because now it's the end of 2017, it's the end of the year, and generally, I do a lot of different things with the Tomcast, so let's do some of them. First of all, as of Christmas, I've been doing Nextuus as a comic in this form for 11 years. So that's cool. It was cooler last year when it was 10 years. It won't be as exciting for several more years, you know? I mean, the next big one might be... I mean, I guess next year is 12 years, so it's a dozen years, you know? You could say 13 and 14 is like a baker's dozen years, but yeah, anyway, it's still cool. I'm still happy, and it is fun to have made it another year. Generally, at the end of the year, I like to look and see comic stats, and I like to see how many pages I've put out. I don't remember if I did it last year. I didn't do it this year, so I'm not gonna. But what I did want to talk about was cons. So I haven't made a video about the comic book I-Con, which just happened the weekend before Christmas. So I guess that's 2 weeks ago now. So it's 2 weeks ago I did the Iowa Comic Book Club I-Con here in Des Moines, which it's my hometown show, you know? It's like the biggest, longest running show in Des Moines. I had a good time at the show, and I sold some books, and I got to see some friends and spend some time with friends, and that's really great. It's a cheap show. I don't really have to travel far to get to it, so my expectations are usually pretty low for, like, what makes it a good show. But there was a lot kind of working against it, I think, in being, like, a really financially successful show for people. And part of that is just because it was a week before Christmas. It was actually a really nice day, which you never really know what weather is going to do for cons. Like, if it's a nice day, maybe people will be out, and so they'll want to go to your show. And if it's a bad day, they might not want to, or it might be completely flipped. But I think the proximity to Christmas just made it a little bit harder for them to pull the kind of numbers that they might have liked. However, this is the first year in 3 years. So the past 2 years, it wasn't the ICBC I-Con, it was MidwestCon, which was like an amalgamation of a couple different groups getting together and making a show. So it was sort of like a rebranding and then now back to the original branding. And that's going to have a period of adjustment. All of that said, I think that the organizers put on a really good show. I liked the new location. I don't have any pictures of it. But I had a good time, and I'm confident that next year it'll be even better. And actually, they've already announced when the date will be, and it's going to be in November, which I think will be better. I do think that it's good to have a show, like, leading up to Christmas, because people are thinking of, like, oh, hey, what's something cool and unique that I could buy? Maybe I'll go to this show and, like, find cool, unique stuff. But I think it was just a little too close to Christmas. But I think they were kind of limited to their options. There's a lot of other cons to kind of schedule around as well. I did a little count of all of the cons that I've done this year. So in 2017, unless I did not write some of them down, I did 10 shows, which is good. I feel like that's a pretty good number. I think that's down from last year, and I'm kind of okay with that. It's less than a con a month, which I think was okay. Now, I'd like to say that doing 10 shows was enough, but unfortunately, like, financially, it really wasn't. But we've talked about that in previous Tomcasts all throughout 2017 that I've had some pretty dismal shows this year. It hasn't really made me decide that I don't want to do shows, but I definitely don't imagine I'm going to be doing more than 10 next year, especially with like other things that are happening in my life, like having a baby sometime next year. So, with all that considered, I mean, I don't know. Like, I don't know that I've ever really looked back at the year and said, like, were cons worth it? But this year I'm really like thinking, should I look back and think, were cons worth it? Ultimately, yes. I mean, even if it was a bad year for sales and a bad year for my psyche going to cons, overall, and that's not even true. I mean, I had probably 3 really, really bad shows that were unfortunately the most expensive shows to go to and the longest shows to attend. But the rest of my shows were fine. They met or exceeded expectations, and I had fun, and I learned a lot. So even though I had a bad year, it wasn't a bad year. So yeah, cons were worth it. But definitely just because of things in my life and a little bit because of how cons went this year, probably going to take it a little easy next year on how many cons that I sign up for and go to. That said, I did take a little bit of time and come up with a list of some things that I really want to get done and have at cons next year. So, I mentioned in a previous Tomcast these mask tokens that my buddy Jet 3D printed for me. I really want to get those done. I haven't done anything with them. I already made it as a goal on a Tomcast, but I really want to be able to sell those things. So, saying it now to the internet, the first show of next year is Cedar Rapids Comic Con. It's the first weekend in February. I need to have those tokens ready to go. Whether I just paint them or whether I paint them and put pins or magnets on the back, whatever I'm going to do with them, I need to have it done by the first weekend in February. That's my goal. I gotta do it. Thank you. Way masks. So I really want to have more way masks with me at all times. I've made videos this past year about trying to make a lot of way masks. I just need to like take some time and actually like crank out 5 or 6 of them. I'd like that to be like the number that I have regularly to go to shows, and then just make replacements as they sell. That sounds really easy, but it's not. I did get the masks that I ordered. So I told you guys, I don't know, 2-3 months ago that I was going to order more hockey masks to use as bases to sculpt the way masks over. I did get, I think I ordered 4 of them. They were really cheap on Amazon, and they're pretty terrible. But I think that I can modify them and make them work for my purposes. So I'm hoping to have kind of like a mask like assembly line set up soon, which will be very helpful if I want to achieve this goal of having 5 or 6 masks with me at every show. I keep saying 5 or 6. It's 6. I wrote down 6. At least 6 is what I wrote. I'm just trying to make it easier on myself. It's 6 though. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. You're the internet. You appreciate honesty. 4 more tarot designs. Yeah, I really want to make some new tarot designs. I actually worked on a couple at the I-Con between talking to people. I did some sketches, so I got some ideas for some new tarot cards, and I want to make a better display for them than what I have now, because I think they look a little junky, and it might be a little hard to tell what I'm selling. But I really do want to, I think it would be cool, like I've said this for years since I started doing the tarot cards, it would be really cool to make my own deck. I don't think that's something that I want to like set as a goal for this upcoming year, but it is something that's still on my radar. So, be patient. I need new handouts, yeah, postcards and stickers. I'm pretty much out of like all the stuff that I give out to people. I just have business cards. Business cards are fine, but I think that the little postcard flyer things are a little more interesting and eye-catching, and everybody likes stickers. So I just feel like there's a better chance of people looking at those things again over business cards. Everybody picks up business cards at cons. I pick up business cards at cons. I try to look at them, but I have sort of a different attitude than probably a lot of people who are just going to cons and looking at stuff, where it's like, I want to remember the people that I meet and like interact with them again in the future. But you know, other people might just be picking up my business card to be polite and then throwing it away. If it's interesting looking, or if it has a function like a sticker, there's a better chance they might actually check out my website. At least that's what I tell myself. Volume 5 and 6 question mark? So I've mentioned a couple times this year that the next time I start working on a book, I'm thinking I might as well just work on 2 and just do volume 5 and 6 together, because I have enough chapters done to do both of them. That'd be up through chapter 30, and we're in the middle of chapter 35 online right now. It has been getting easier and easier to make the books because I have to do less and less editing of the pages. But that's a lot of content to put together. And again, like I say, this next year, there's going to be a lot of changes to my life and what time I have available for doing comic stuff in general. So I'm going to leave that question mark there. That is a solid question mark, because I have no idea how feasible that would be to even set as a goal for 2018. I am excited to do more books. I like having more books. We'll see. We'll see. Anyway, so I'm not going to leave you guys hanging much longer between episodes. I do have some other stuff to talk about. But instead of doing like 2 or 3 back-to-back episodes, I just figured I'd do one long one since it's been a little while. Thanks, as always, for watching. You guys are the best. I really do appreciate you guys taking the time to hear me out and holding me accountable. Since, you know, you're the internet, you gotta hold me to what I say. And, yeah, I hope you guys had a great Christmas or whatever, and I hope you have a happy New Year. I'm looking forward to it. It's gonna be a lot of fun. So, yeah, keep your stick on the ice.